Alright, hello everyone, this is Casey. I know it's been a while since I've been able to give a real update, but Fienix has definitely not been put on a back burner or put in the back seat, whatever you might want to say. I've been spending more time on it lately than probably ever. So I am happy to share with you this new release edition. I'll show you around the desktop a little bit. Keep in mind that my goals with Fienix are to create an intuitive and efficient desktop. For example, in my opinion, if there's something common that you can do with one click, you should be able to do it with one click. I'm also not a huge fan of like hamburger menus with a bunch of stuff crammed in them, or that sort of thing. So we'll just start here with the brisk menu. The brisk menu is really great. You can browse all of your applications by category. You can also search for anything. You can right click on the apps and pin them to your favorites menu, which is right here. You can also launch the brisk menu with your keyboard by pressing the super key and then type in first few characters of whatever app you want to pull up, press enter, and the app will launch. So you can operate the menu fully from your keyboard as well. On the left hand side of the screen, you see this row of icons here, and this is to give you one-click access to the applications that you use the most. So you can just put your mouse over there and click on whatever applications you want to launch. You don't have to go through the menu, through the brisk menu, as great as it is, or you don't have to minimize everything to get to your desktop icons. They're just always right there waiting for you. On the bottom here, we have the show desktop icon. You can show and hide all of your windows at once. And then we have the window list, and then the workplace switcher, and the trash is over here in the corner. And then on the top row here, we have the app indicators, starting with the volume. This is called OwnCloud. OwnCloud is a file syncing service. So in your home directory, you have this folder for OwnCloud, and whatever you put in that folder is synced into the OwnCloud account. You can then log in through any web browser on any computer into that account and access the things that you have on this folder. And then also you can put things through the web browser. You can upload whatever you want through the web browser, and then when you come back to your Fienix computer, they will be waiting for you in this folder. So it's sort of just like a built-in Dropbox functionality. Here, this is a utility that adjusts your display's color temperature around 8 to 9 o'clock at night to reduce eye strain and prevent sleeping problems due to blue light exposure. And this is active right now. If you don't like it, you can disable it and prevent it from auto starting so you don't have to deal with it. I've found though, like at first I wasn't sure about it, but then I really do think that it decreases eye strain when I use my computer at nighttime, so I actually like it now. I'm going to go ahead and suspend it for an hour so you can see the difference. So we went from the night mode into this day mode that has full blue light exposure. Here's the connections menu. If you have Wi-Fi connections, those will show up in here. If you have VPN connections, those will show up in here. You can connect to them from this menu. Here's a NetSpeed applet. This is a local weather. If anything gives me away as being an American, it's this letter right here. And then we have date and time, and I call this the expedite menu. This just gives quick access to some system controls. The first one is force quit. So let's say, like for whatever reason, system monitor is misbehaving, it's locked up or whatever, you can go to the expedite menu, click force quit here, then click on whatever window is misbehaving, and you can force that application to quit. So you don't have to go in through terminal window and kill it or whatever else. It's just an easier way. You can also lock the screen, log out, or shut the computer down. Alright, so I'm going to go back to Interweb now. Interweb is a browser by Fienix, and I think that we all owe him some gratitude for putting out some really great browsers. He's done several of them. I would say Interweb is definitely my favorite. With Interweb, I really don't feel like I'm missing out on anything. And again, he's just done a really great job of putting PowerPC browsers out there and bringing the modern web back to PowerPC. So thank you to Fienix. One of the things that I see online kind of a lot is people that are claiming that PowerPC can't stream HD YouTube videos. And maybe if you have a G4, I'm not sure how well they can stream an HD video, but definitely if you have a G5, and most definitely if you have an Amiga 1 system, there's absolutely no reason that you can't stream an HD video from YouTube. So here I have a high definition video pulled up on YouTube, and I can play it with absolutely no problems. Can view it in widescreen. Can even put that over here. And then maybe I want to play a little game while I'm watching my HD video. So as you can see, there's really no problem with performance at all here. So I would say don't let anybody tell you that a PowerPC computer can't play an HD video on YouTube. You just have to have it configured correctly. And Fienix comes with all of that stuff pre-configured. You don't have to worry about it. As soon as you log in, you can go to YouTube and play HD videos. Everything is pre-configured for you. Not only can you view HD videos, you can also do HD video editing if you'd like. In the Fienix repository, we have the most recent edition of Flowblade. Favorite video editor. I think that the interface is really nice. Everything is very easily accessible. It's very easy to figure everything out, and you can do some cool stuff with it. So I would definitely say this is my favorite one. Just to show you quick, you can I have an example project. If you prefer to use Kdenlive, we also have the most recent edition of Kdenlive available on Fienix repository. there's kind of like a blue tint to the interface for some reason, but when you load in a project, the video is not affected by that at all. So, like for example, the video's fine. The proxy clip hasn't loaded in yet, so it would be a little bit stuttering if I let it play through the preview window. There's also VLC, of course, and SM Player. I think I prefer SM Player a little bit over VLC. I mean, they're both about the same, but I just kind of like this interface a little bit better. So one other thing that you might have noticed, both VLC and SM Player are Qt applications. And previously, Qt applications were very noticeable because they did not go along with the Fienix theme. They had like white, ugly menu bars and stuff like that. With this new version of Fienix, we have much more consistent theming throughout GTK and Qt applications. You can kind of tell a little bit. There are still some minor differences that really can't be avoided, but for the most part, it looks much more consistent. Just for another example, I'll pull up game. It's like their Tetris game. So much better consistent theming. As far as other applications go, there are quite a few new additions. Basically an entire suite of educational and research software. If you like any of this kind of stuff, some of them are actually kind of cool. So there's like this gravity simulator where you can simulate like planetary bodies basically, and see like how, I don't know, gravity works. You can do some other things too. These are all options that you can do with this program. There's like another one where it's basically like a petri dish, and you can see like these all represent like organisms or food. You can do like different events and just see how organisms would interact and act in that kind of environment. We have quite a few games. I've actually played all of these for at least a little while, because one of the things that I've noticed with a lot of Linux distributions is that it seems like they put a lot of these silly little apps in that really aren't very much fun, and they call them games, and it's kind of annoying. So I think all of these are pretty much worthwhile. I like all of them in some kind of way. For graphics, we have this app here called Akira, and Akira is a design tool. You can design interfaces for your apps with Akira. We also have the most recent edition of Scribus, and Scribus is a desktop publishing application that is somewhat like Adobe InDesign. Again, that's the most recent version. We have the most recent version of Inkscape. Inkscape is a vector image program. It is somewhat like Adobe Illustrator. We also have Raw Therapy, which is a non-destructive image post-processing program, somewhat similar to like Adobe Lightroom. And then we have a special edition of GIMP that I put together for Fienix. So this is GIMP, and it is packaged with GIMP Paint Studio, GIMP Brushbox, and FX Foundry scripts, script-foo scripts that I've used and found to be useful or fun, and then also a few plugins that do a good job of expanding the capability of GIMP. So I'll just show you around a little bit and show you some of the new functionality with this special edition. Normally, GIMP is known as a really good image editor, but it's not really known for having good painting, capabilities. And with GIMP Paint Studio, that is now integrated into this, we have a really great painting capability built in at this point, almost on par with some of the more dedicated programs that are dedicated to digital painting. For a lot of this, you would normally have to go to something like Krita or another dedicated digital painting program. But you can see here, what I've done is I've selected the paintbrush, and then this menu down here is full of different paintbrush tools. All of these have dynamics built into them, so they all act in different ways. They all use different brushes. So we have like charcoal, it's another cloud, FX confetti, it's kind of fun. There are like certainly a lot of them in here. Grass. Hair. What other tools do we have in here that might be interesting? We have like the standard kind of oil brushes. Pencils, dust, splatters. Let's see what this is here. Murder scene. And then also, in addition to painting tools, you also have like these smudge tools, which are things like a rake, we have smudge charcoal, graphite glass smear. Oh, that's cool. cheese smudge. Oh, that's interesting, isn't it? Grainy blender. So anyway, just a lot of additional tools with GIMP that wouldn't normally be available. I'll also show you one of the plugins that is packaged in is called Resynthesizer. Resynthesizer is kind of cool because let's say I decided I don't want this satellite in my image. I can, using the free select tool, go around whatever object I don't want in my image, and then go to Filters, Enhance, Heal Selection. And this uses the Resynthesize plugin to delete that item and then fill in the background with whatever sort of background is around that object. As for the filters, this menu, FX Foundry, and this menu, ScriptFoo, are full of filters and different scripts that you can use to edit your video or to edit your image. Under FX Foundry, if you go to Photos and Effects, there's some pretty cool ones in there. ScriptFoo under Effects. Some of these are things that you would maybe see in like Instagram, something like that. Should we make Planet Obama? This is for Obama's campaign. His posters had a very distinctive art style. And you can take any of your photos and sort of apply the same art style to them. Be with this dog. There's a Tuninator plugin. It's running here. It's kind of interesting. Or you can apply some of like the more traditional filters, like Lomo. Maybe we'll use Orton, cross processing, or XPro. Try Orton with this one. That looks pretty good, actually. Alright, so anyway, this is GIMP and some of the extended functionality that has been packaged in with it. There's actually a lot more as well. Maybe I'll make a more specific video just about some of those capabilities, if anyone is interested. There's also a program in here called Photoflare. And Photoflare is an image editor, somewhat like GIMP, but it's more simple. If you go into these menus and things like that, though, it actually has some really useful functionality, but the interface is maybe more simple, maybe more approachable. So if you're not really familiar with image editing, this might be something that you would want to look at. There's also a lot of other sound and video applications. We've already looked at Flowblade and Kdenlive. There's also there are like a lot of sound editing programs like Audacity. You can compose your own MIDIs. There's visualization software like this Libintu. Mix is an interesting application. Mix is a DJing application. I am not a DJ. I do not know what like half knobs and buttons do, but Mix has some really interesting functionality in that it has an auto DJ system. And so you can take like a playlist. I've just made an example with some Creative Commons music. You drag it to the auto DJ, you go in there and you press enable. It's a little bit loud. You press enable auto DJ, and then it loads one of the songs into this spot and one of the songs into this spot, and then it analyzes the music and it determines the best way to mix this song into this song. So when this song comes to the ending, it will start mixing in this song, and then when this song is over, it moves this song into this spot, and then it loads the next song and analyzes that music. So you can create a playlist and just have all of their music mixing into the next song, into the next song. The playlist that goes on forever. It's basically one long song. So I will exit that. Let's see, there are also a few emulators that I have on here that I'll just go through real quick. One of them is Basilisk Emulator. This emulates a 68030 with the FPU. It's actually a very responsive, fast program. I think this actually runs faster than like when I was younger and I had a Macintosh. But I use this a lot because I like some of these like old school Mac games, like these Maxis games, SimCity 2000, SimAnt, that kind of stuff. As you can see, it's very fast. You don't need to get too into that right now. But really, it doesn't have any problem with any of these games. Prince of Persia, Oregon Trail, Monkey Island. It's kind of like my nostalgia machine, I guess. I also loaded in some other applications just to see like how they would run. They all run really well. Like old school Photoshop, really old school Adobe Premiere. This is video editing software. Not quite on par with like Flowblade, but so that's Mac emulator. I also have on here Atari, which emulates one of my favorite computers actually. It's this right here, an Atari Falcon. So this here is the Atari OS called TOS. And I don't have this set up with a hard drive. You can program a hard drive. I just need to kind of calibrate my mouse here. There we go. You can set up a hard drive. I just haven't done it. So in order to like play any games or anything like that, I would have to load it in as a floppy disk image. So I'm not going to do that right now. But I just wanted to show you that this also runs really well. So this is emulating the Falcons, again, 68030 with the FPU. All right, so I think that's about it. We can talk a little bit about the release schedule. I have pretty much everything ready to go. The only thing that I need to do is load some packages onto the repository, but that doesn't take very long at all. I have everything packaged up. Everything's ready to go. So I will definitely have the Amiga 1 image, the Amiga 1 live image ready this week. I will have a G5 image also maybe this weekend. I know that you guys aren't exactly fans of an image for the G5. The thing is that to make an Apple bootable CD, they have like a lot of really weird stuff that you have to do to make a bootable CD, and I don't have the installer ready yet. So I'll put an image out this weekend for G5s. You can try it. Hopefully you can get it to work. If you don't, I will have an installer out there. It's just not ready yet. I will say maybe I have quite a lot of time to spend on this right now, so hopefully just like a week, but I'll say maybe a month. Otherwise, feel free to leave any comments with any questions or anything that you might have, any software requests. I think that I have a couple of programs out there that people have asked for that I need to try to build. But yeah, thanks for watching. Have a good day, guys.